We are going down. Repeat, we are going down. Mark that move on. I'm seeing a ton of anti-orbital defenses. None of them will decompression on deck 5 through 9. All hands abandon ship. All hands abandon. Get to the lifeboat. We're going down. We're going down. This is the MCS James McCallum. We are going down. I repeat, we are going down. You're jamming us hard. We're not getting through.
Titanfall.
This is Titanfall. There have been several games that have either changed the landscape of gaming or set a new standard that games should achieve. Titanfall did not do this, but I think it should have. Titanfall is easily one of my most favorite games to this day, topping the likes of Halo and Half-Life just to name a few. Although unlike those two, it hasn't been able to capture the same audience, likely because it doesn't have enough tits in it. I mean, because it released at a terrible time, right in between Call of Duty and Battlefield. And while people were jerking off so much hate on one of those games, the other was Battlefield. However, despite this, it seems like Titanfall 3 may still be around the corner. But I did forget to take my schizophrenia pills today, so who really knows. By the time this video comes out, the awareness of Titanfall 3 will either be confirmed or rumored so heavily that the number of suicides this year will skyrocket when it isn't. I won't dive into that rabbit hole yet. Or ever. No, not today. I just want to look back and remember what was and is. So what is Titanfall, you may be asking? Titanfall is a game where your two rival factions fight in an all-out war across the stars, with giant mechs who shoot bullets the size of Shaquille O'Neal. And instead of lightsabers and transformers, they have military pilots with grappling guns and jetpacks. Titanfall doesn't always show how horrific the war gets, however, but I imagine it's to the scale of planets being blown up in a single battle kind of bad, to give you a general idea. It was made by the same people who made the good Call of Duties and wanted to find that next step for shooters. They somewhat founded the advanced movement craze that went from the 2000 teens up until 2020 or more or less. Although there were many versions of this advanced movement, most of them meh or lackluster, Titanfall made them all seem like abortions in my eyes. You play as Jack Cooper, the world's most... one of the many characters in the world, along with his best buddy, the Iron Giant. Jack is a pilot in training who hopes to one day become the honorable pilots he sees in the battlefield.
Oh my god, the recruiter lied! This is nothing like a video game! These are real people with families! This is fucking awesome!
While being in training by your mentor Captain dies in 5 minutes, you are interrupted by the Call of Duty. Sorry. You are drop-podded in and your first taste of battle hits your tongue like my snack cheese hit the floor last night. Oh no, me cheese! Before you can get your kill streak, an enemy Titan drops down and almost stomps your face in before Captain Captain dies in 5 minutes, saves your life. He sucks at PvP, however, and dies as we pass out. We get a brief vision of who the villains are and hit the snooze button because it's still too early, and when we wake up we see Captain Lastimosa die for real this time, but not before he gives us his suit and a promotion.
Congratulations on your promotion. You may call me BT.
BT-7274, our new Titan, is only partially operational, but marks some power cores for us to collect. We collect what we can, restore BT's power supply, and learn how to play. This is the moment you get into BT for the first time. No, not in that way. When you finally feel the difference between pilot and Titan.
Protocol 1. Rifleman Jack Cooper, you are now confirmed as acting pilot of BT-7274. Protocol 2. Uphold the mission. Our orders are to resume Special Operation 217. Rendezvous with Major Anderson of the SRS. I'm detecting incoming enemy forces. Protocol 3. Protect the pilot. Reinitializing critical systems.
In a final test to see if we're ready, an enemy Titan drops down, and we banish him into the Shadow Realm.
Well done, pilot.
Now with BT and Jack fully equipped for the next fight, we set off on our new adventure. So, onto graphics. This game came out in 2016, and it still looks good in my eyes. All the color and variety makes the scenery pop and fun to look at. In some ways, the scenery is more repetitive than maps from the first game, but it can trick you at times just because of how pretty it all looks, and how much detail they manage to pack into all the different environments. There is still a variety in the locations you visit, so it never gets too old to look at. That being said, some of the textures are noticeably from the last generation. The water especially looks bad when it's in movement, and it will magically phase through rocks and other things. On the plus side, however, the art style and especially the Titans themselves are great. They have such an awesome scale to them when you look in first person. The Titans feel like a huge war machines that they are meant to be, and are also distinct from one another that every class of Titan is instantly recognizable. They aren't too big though, and you won't feel like they are getting too squished in strange places unnaturally often. Speaking strictly for the multiplayer maps, I find it hard to spot repeats of any kind of building, area, or anything else really. The maps have a great variety and again are instantly recognizable. Titanfall also highlights things you can interact with, be it guns, grenades, buttons, or teammates. I've seen some games that have struggled to make the highlight clear and readable, and other games that make it too obvious so that it is distracting from other things. Titanfall manages to strike a good balance, where things are highlighted, but in the subconscious part of your brain, it doesn't recognize the highlight most of the time, so it isn't distracting at all. There is one thing I need to mention for the multiplayer, however, and that is when you, the player, are hit. See, in other games there might be some kind of visual cue that you are taking damage and need to heal, whether it is throwing some blood around the corners of your screen or having something flash at the top of it to indicate that you are taking damage. The trick is to make it obvious, but not so in your face that it becomes distracting. Titanfall is a weird hybrid in its approach. When you take damage, your screen fades deeper into grayscale the more damage that you take, while also spraying an orangish red mist in your face. This comes with a lot of bloom, which can't be disabled as far as I know. The grayscale part actually can be pretty helpful as it highlights enemies, which makes turning around a firefight much easier. I didn't like it at first, but I found it to be more helpful than not over time. It feels balanced. But I understand why people don't want to feel like they are going colorblind while being jizzed on by the thing from Fantastic Four. Back to the rest of the game. The sound is fantastic, with giant titans falling from the sky to grunts calling out to each other on the battlefield.
Ion laser core activated. Warning, reactor exposed.
Stand by for Titanfall.
Welcome back. Report. Critical systems functioning at...
Reinforcements on your six! Breaking down!
The grunt chatter in multiplayer especially gives it that edge, as allies will often talk about how now that you are near them, they are safe. Or if you come across enemy grunts, they might call out or sound terrified.
You are dominating that pilot. Incoming hostile! We can't see! Look! Pilot! Now the odds are in our favor. Magnitude to all units! I've got a Titan on my six!
Enemy Titan detected. Attempting situation control.
Can't let them pin us down! Hostile pilot inside! 1031 in pursuit!
The music list for this game is pretty short when considering other games' soundtracks that sometimes can be hours long. That being said, there are moments in the soundtrack that are so good that I can't help but feel like I'm in the middle of an epic movie at times. At other times, however, I feel like the music is being held back. Like they were told to sit in the corner and just be quiet, but they kept playing a bit anyways. That isn't a bad thing, and usually when it is playing, it's great for the moment. Stephen Barton was behind it all, however, and after hearing some of the stuff from Apex Legends, it's hard to go back. Finally, let's get into the multiplayer.
Friendly pilot warning. We have a hostile pilot on board.
Arguably, the best part about Titanfall is the multiplayer it has. When I first played this for the first time, I remember thinking that this would revolutionize how multiplayer games worked in the future, that it would affect how they developed and were played for years to come. Sadly, this hasn't happened. Yet. Some aspects have been taken and butchered by other games, but nothing has gotten close to the sheer amount of fun that you can have in this game. Don't worry, I'll get into the negatives as in a second, but as it is right now, it's still the best multiplayer experience I've ever had solo, which is saying a lot for how much untapped potential they possess. The idea was to make an experience where everyone can feel like a badass, despite their personal skill level. With matches not using a skill-based matchmaking system, this is bound to happen frequently. On top of that, the biggest game modes don't actually have you fighting other players all the time. The biggest downside that I see a lot of people having with this game is that it isn't always the most team-oriented. I think these days most people have been conditioned to the heavy team-based battle royales and tactical team games that require you to work as a team for the best results. This is not one of them. It plays out like a normal Call of Duty match, but because of the movement and map size, a private 4v4 with no Titans or AI could feel pretty shallow. Even still, some game modes do provide you with more team-oriented playstyles, and you could always try to just coordinate with friends in slower Titans. Currently, because of the biggest player surge since launch, you can find a match in any game mode within 5 minutes. If you don't, but still want to try something, join the Advocate network, make a private match, and invite everyone from that network to play, and you'll find what you need. I was able to find several games by doing this, and the community always seemed just fine. The current game modes at the time of writing are Attrition, where 2 teams of 6 play team deathmatch and smaller AI watch the gods above them decide their fate. Free-for-all, Battle Royale before it was cool.
Your Titan will be online soon, pilot.
Bounty Hunt, gods fight over the souls of the innocent and then attack or defend their banks at the end of each round to use those souls to buy NFTs. Amped Hardpoint, 2 teams fight over territories because it's mating season and the more territories you own, the more likely that my crush will finally notice me. Live Fire, Rainbow Six Siege if everyone took speed through the anus. Last Titan Standing, Rainbow Six Siege if everyone took shrooms and bought mechs. Titan Brawl, Transformers the game. Pilots vs. Pilots, the game mode you choose when you think the Titans are boring, but in all actuality, you are the boring one in every situation in life. And the Coliseum, which is a game mode for when someone says they can 1v1 you because you dominated them last match, like I wish my imaginary waifu would dominate me. And there are a couple other game modes that might be switched around a bit every so often that might have a theme to them, such as extra health, everyone has the same loadout, or the same map, so on and so forth. If I can go on a quick tangent as well, one of the best parts about the multiplayer is that you always enter with this pretty sick cutscene, which I've noticed a lot of games have been doing more and more these days, but one of the other parts about it is that if you lose on almost every single game mode, you get the option to evac. What this basically means is that you have a certain period of time where you can't respawn, where you have to either get to the evac ship or prevent the people from leaving on the evac ship. You can blow it up or just kill everyone there. It's your choice. However, this also comes with a great benefit, as if you lose a match, if you manage to escape, that means that you keep all of the XP, and the match doesn't count as a loss technically. It doesn't count as a win, but it's not a loss. So you get the XP, and the rewards, and your stats don't really change, which is pretty cool. I don't know why more games don't do this, because it's really fun and it gives a lot of people a reason to keep playing and to want to strive to be as best as they can be, because even if they lose, they still have a chance to really win. Not to mention, it looks really sick.
The evac ship has arrived, so it is your only chance for survival.
In almost every game mode, you have access to several different guns that all fire differently to one another, different abilities, and different grenades. The idea here was to make everything stand out and not feel similar to one another. For instance, the LMGs are all in the same class, but one fires like a normal LMG, while another fires faster the longer you hold down the trigger, and another can fire unlimited, but the bullets are slower and it can overheat. The idea was less is more. This also goes for the actual gun customization as well. No 100+ attachments for a single gun. Everything has specific perks to add that blatantly tell you what they do, and there's no crazy 1% increase in bullet speed, but minus 2% in sprint speed or something stupid like that. They kept it simple. In a way, this game actually feels like it is one of the older COD titles, like Modern Warfare 2 all over again. Likely because it was the same developers, but hey, I'm just an idiot who makes YouTube videos, so what do I know? It manages to recapture that magic and present it in a way that is fun, addicting, and meaningful. When people say that every match feels like a movie, they mean it. With so much to do, it's hard not to feel engaged with every match, from jumping into Titans and fighting with a deep and refined class system, to riding, jumping, or ejecting out of those same Titans.
Star pilot on board.
The Titans themselves are like kill streaks or powerful vehicles in other games that you might be able to use once every 3 or 4 matches if you're good enough. Here, however, they are set on a timer that gets shorter as you build up your score. It means that no matter what, everyone will be able to use their Titan at least once per match, yet the Titans never feel insignificant even though they're frequently seen because of their power. When a Titan is on the field, players will generally avoid going out in the open because it is capable of killing them easily. AI will run and panic as your Titan charges in their general direction. I didn't even know this until recently, but if you aim your gun at a grunt, it will actually surrender and give you a point for the kill, which is a really cool detail to make you feel more powerful. The other half of the game is the pilots. Any first-person shooter is only worth its salt when it comes to how the player is able to interact with the world around them. In the case of Titanfall 2, each map and game becomes a virtual jungle gym and the player is given all the tools and abilities they could ever want to explore it. From things like invisibility that hides you from Titans or players, to speed boosts, teleporters, and a grappling hook that can send you to the moon. The wall running and sliding only complements this toolkit, as each function is seamless and easy to pull off. No designated walls to run on, no low energy count, or limited sprint. The maps are your playground, not your limitation. Speaking of the maps, I think I need to quickly talk about something here. When Titanfall 2 dropped, 3-lane maps were a big innovation for a lot of multiplayer games. I put an asterisk on the word innovation. Basically, it means that most of the maps funnel down players into one of 3 lanes to get them into the action quickly. This sounds better on paper, but it actually sucks because the player choice and strategy is gone. You can tell a game has 3-lane maps just by looking at it. Titanfall 2 unfortunately also suffers from this a bit, for the Titan gameplay. While most of the maps are 3 lanes, they don't always feel like it. Because the maps are much larger and with various points of elevation and buildings to enter, as a pilot you may not even realize that you are being funneled because there's so much freedom to how you explore these maps. When in a slower, bigger Titan, unfortunately it becomes painfully obvious. Not every map suffers from the same degree, but several of the maps will place your Titan in a corridor with little room to wiggle in. If you ever wonder why many Titan players will stick to the outskirts of a map or make a break for them when another enemy Titan shows up, it's because they get more freedom in those areas. For pilots, these maps don't really matter too much, but it hurts the Titan gameplay. If Titanfall 3 ever does come out, I would want more maps with the same variety and care as they had in the first game, which allow for so much more freedom of gameplay, even if that meant that it was slightly more difficult to find consistent action. Maybe just make a higher player count per match, with more AI. Just saying. I wanted to save the story for last in this review, because I think it was a surprise to most people who bought the game. The story gameplay actually has most of the elements of the multiplayer. A huge variety of weapons and enemies, interesting locations, and the idea that player freedom should be placed first. You'll almost never be restricted to being inside your Titan. Granted, you may die without it, but at least you have the choice. The only real issues is a lack of other choices, such as not being able to use other abilities like their grapple hook or AWOL. Granted, it does make sense because some of these abilities are really broken in campaign, and it was probably a lot easier to balance things around having just invisibility. The other sad part is that we don't get a couple enemies in multiplayer such as the campaign-specific alien wolves or grunt captains who have shields in front. Though again, it was probably hard to balance this for multiplayer, or at least it killed the pacing of it. Apart from that, there really isn't any other differences in gameplay from multiplayer. I will always have my personal wishes, such as a map that lets you fight across 2 different ships, but I digress. After you and BT link up and start hiking to the next level, you regroup with some allies that also manage to survive the night. You'll spend a lot of time in the campaign going in and out of BT for required sections, but at any point in time you are ultimately given the choice to stay in him or get out. Man, that sentence sounded really weird. You'll find one of the hired bounty hunters who works for the other side and kill him. Each of these characters has an intro scene and a boss fight, but if you know what you're doing, they can easily be dispatched. Well, all but one, but we'll get to him. For reference, this gameplay is recorded on the recommended hardcore mode. The entire mission is based around a new weapon that was discovered by the IMC that could threaten to destroy entire planets. Your task is to pick up where others left off and find the weapon in order to save the day. If it sounds like something you've heard before, it's because it is. It's not the overall plot that makes this campaign so memorable. Ask anyone who has played it, and they likely won't even remember the order of missions or the names of the villains. The real stars of the show are the moment-to-moment gameplay, as each level offers something new, and you'd be hard-pressed to be bored throughout this short runtime. But, more importantly, the relationship that you as Jack Cooper build with BT.
That's insane.
I'm incapable of insanity, pilot. Wind, 3 knots, heading 274. Range, 95 meters. Projectile mass, 89 kilograms. Trust me.
I won't go into too much detail about every moment, as I'll preface everything from this point on as a spoiler, as I truly believe that if this game seems even a little interesting to you, you should experience it for yourself and all the moments it has. On your journey, BT suggests a shortcut through an industrial complex that will help you get to the last known location of your ranking officer. While fighting through the IMC that is stationed there, BT gets captured and you chase after him. You end up in a future Build-A-Bear workshop, where they are now building much larger things, and the manager is a robotic woman for the sake of workplace diversity. This is one of my favorite levels, as fighting soldiers in this factory while the buildings are being constructed around you makes for some really cool backdrops. Finally, you are dropped into a virtual reality arena without the virtual part, and sentenced to fight for your life. The newest Build-A-Bear is revealed, and you manage to escape because the last guys that came in forgot to lock the door behind them. Since one person escaped, the manager decides that the best course of action is to self-destruct the entire facility. Women, am I right, boys?
Let's just put a high price on your head, pilot. Dead or alive. That makes you worth something to me.
So we crush her and peace out. Finally, we get to the last known location of Anderson. This is the mission where a lot of people had that moment of clarity that this campaign was so much more than what they originally thought. Official spoiler warning ahead. If you don't want to see what happens next, go to here. When we arrive at the abandoned IMC facility, there's clearly been some kind of event that took place here. Was it a fight? A storm? It's unclear. But while we search for answers, we see some strange visions of the past. We link up with BT and begin looking for some answers. After we find Anderson's body, or half of it anyways, we come to the conclusion that we need the special device that he was given to help him with his mission, which means finding the other half. BT shows us that he took a javelin throwing class, and we use it to get to the next area.
Nice. Maybe next time you can throw me.
Noted.
Is it too late to recall that statement?
Good luck.
We get one more vision, but this time the people seem to notice us? Even the events that took place then can be interacted with, and we fight the stalkers that we or someone took out in the past? What's going on here? The deeper we dive, the more it seems like this is a past life, or maybe something that Anderson did? Finally, when we get to his cheeks, we can find some answers.
Sorry, Anderson.
It's time travel. Whatever the IMC had or did here, it affected space and time in a very literal way. If you find some audio logs around the level that aren't really hidden, you'll learn that it's called the Ark, and was some kind of device left here by an alien race called the Forerunners. Oh wait, shoot, wrong script. This is the level that most people remember, and for good reason. It has an intriguing story, parkour puzzles, and plenty of fights. At the height of the battle, however, the Ark activates and time is thrown out the window as we ascend into the core to scan and track down the real Ark. Once we know everything, We then need to make our way to a massive radar array to transmit all that we've learned back to our boys in space. We meet up with some grunt allies who have managed to hold out all this time. They tell us that we need to solve some more puzzles and tell us that the last pilot who tried died. After that, we have to realign the dish. We align the dish and forget that when you fix a dish like this, it tends to turn on its side and become quite slippery. Well, I guess this is it.
Got you.
Unfortunately, the corporate rules dictate that BT and Cooper have to separate, as Cooper is not an official pilot.
Objection. Cooper is my pilot. Our combat effectiveness rating now exceeds 90%. Request permission to retain this link.
You're lucky our backs are up against the wall, BT. Permission granted.
I guess BT and you have grown close over the course of this adventure, huh?
Hell yeah. I'm on a hot streak.
Your vitals do not indicate a temperature problem. Do you wish for me to investigate this hot streak sensation further?
Funny, BT. You're funny.
Apparently.
Well, then it's time to start the coolest scene in the entire game.
Listen up. The IMC have developed a fold weapon. It has the power to destroy entire worlds, but without its power source, the Ark, it is inoperable. Your mission is to capture the Ark before it can leave the airbase. Marauder Corps, weapons hot. Stand by for Titanfall. Get to cover, pilot. We're taking down that wall.
Good to go. All acolyte pods locked and loaded.
This is Commander Briggs. Go weapons free. Fire! Sparrow 8 lock target, suppressing fire. L20, come in. Keep moving.
So damn rad. You fight. You fight hard to get to the Ark. Any grunt or specter is just a speck of dust in your way at this point. The IMC starts throwing everything they have at you without faltering. You get so close, yet it's just not enough.
Bliss, this is Sloan. The Ark is headed your way. I'll let Viper take it from here. See you soon.
Failed. We...
Get to a ship. We're going after him.
Oh. Hell yeah. I don't think we're done yet.
This is Commander Briggs. We have to recover the Ark. The IMC are taking it to the fold weapon on board the Draconis. All ships, flank speed. We have to hit them hard and fast. Briggs out.
Visual clear. I've got this tone.
This is by far one of the coolest things I have ever done in a video game.
I got
Period.
you, kid. Brace yourself.
After we get saved, we need to find a way to get close and take down the cannons of the IMC ship. I feel like I'm gonna regret asking this, but BT, you have any ideas?
You sure about
Well,
this, BT?
I did ask.
Trust me.
This time though, I think I am gonna trust it.
Good luck.
Things are going badly. We need to take out the cannons fast before...
We lost the Braxton. Stay the course.
Okay. There is still another option. 6-4 are on their way. Hired bounty hunter pilots who fight for our side. These guys are the best of the best, and fighting alongside these guys really feels like you are now an official pilot, fighting with them. Only one problem stands in our way now.
Voodoo 1, Viper's on station. Your journey ends here, pilot. The skies belong to me. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide.
This is by far both the coolest boss fight in the game, and also the hardest. Needless to say, however, we take him down with no further problems at all.
I've lost the hatch. Need cover, need cover.
Cooper, aim for the cockpit.
We have to secure the Ark or a lot of people are gonna die.
Watch out! There's a Titan! Not close!
The containment unit is too large to carry. We must improvise.
Get the Ark out of here!
Negative. We are trapped.
What are you doing?
Protocol 3. I will not lose another pilot. Brace for impact.
I would say what happens here, but this is what you get. Actually, this kind of sucks. Out of all of the campaign, this feels like there should have been more here. This is just a freeze frame. This is a key moment because the next scene we are captured by Blisk. I mean, I guess we can figure out what happened, but with all this going on, I mean, it just really hurts the pacing. It's unknown if it was like this because they just ran out of time, but regardless, this is the biggest issue with the campaign. I don't think they could have added a level, but something here. I mean, this just... it feels so weird. Even still, you and BT are captured and forced to give up the Ark. BT tries to save your life, but... with his dying circuit, he gives you the last option. The Seer Kit. Only one thing left to do now.
I'm picking up a data core, but it's a weak signal.
Are you sure you have the coordinates? Boost the signal. I need to get through to them.
Commander Briggs, I have a lock on Cooper's position. He's pulled BT's data core.
Hello, Jack.
New chassis, same Titan?
Old paint, same data core. BT-7274 good to go. It is time to complete our mission.
Target's blocked. Fire!
Cooper, we're tracking Blisk and Sloan just ahead.
You have your money, Blisk. Now go. My forces will take over from here.
About time they do something.
I think our militia pilot's trying to be a hero. He's all yours. Keep the salvage.
Who said anything about salvage? I'll do this one for free.
You little bugger. You're really making me work for my pay, ain't ya? Nice try, love, but I'm no pushover. I will not be destroyed by some pitiful
Enemy Titan down.
Cooper, get the Ark out of there before it launches. Hurry!
Fold weapon priming sequence complete. Deploying the Ark.
You don't get to kill me, either. Yeah, you earned this, eh?
I know that Blisk just invited us to the Apex games, but we kind of have more important things going on right now. BT says there is one more option. I think we already know what it is.
Boost the signal! BT, Cooper, our ground teams can't make it there in time. You've got to find a way to destroy the fold weapon from the inside. There's no other way.
We can blow it up. I'm sending you coordinates for a dropship rendezvous.
Coordinates received. We'll be there, but I don't see how you can.
Trust me, I have done the math.
I sure as hell hope so. We're on our way. Good luck, both of you. Briggs out.
Don't worry, BT. I'm not going anywhere.
Copy that, pilot. Protocol 3. Protect the pilot.
BT, what are you doing?
Trust me.
BT!
Cooper, we just lost BT signal. We're almost there. Cooper, I'm marking your hunt with the coordinates. The evac site might be in midair. There's nothing we can touch down on here. That's it, you're almost there. Move, move! Cooper, jump for it!
Got a visual!
Watson! Come on, pilot! Parker, get us out of here!
Hang on!
He did it. We did it. We saved the day, but at the cost of our best friend.
Pilot Cooper.
The militia returns home for a celebration, as another planet was destroyed and Cooper is officially made a pilot with his own Titan. After all we did, it feels like a promotion long overdue. Still, I kinda liked the old one. Titanfall 2 is one of those games that comes around every so often. It surprises you at every turn. Every time I think about Titanfall, I am hopeful in the same way that I am sad. If anything I have said here today has intrigued you, I would highly recommend checking it out for yourself. The game goes on sale quite often, and it's included in Microsoft's Game Pass. I hate that EA has placed a hold on good games like this one for now. But maybe, just maybe, there is still hope for the developers who started this, and the new ones who have continued its legacy, to learn from the lessons of all three games and make something really special for the future. I know I'm joining the chorus when I say this, but to the devs at Respawn, if you make a Titanfall 3 with the same love and passion for games as there was when this one released, and you release it in a time when gaming seems to be nothing but microtransactions and sweaty competitions, I promise you that your fans will be there. I will be there. And you will not only make a great game, but a legendary one.